aspiring authors. I have published 2 books, and the book industry's archaic practices have not changed in 75 years. Believe it or not, it can take 12 to 18 months before your finished manuscript goes to print. That is why I am so excited to tell you about Spines. Founded by writers and visionaries, Spines is shaking up the publishing landscape with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to quality. They will guide you from draft to global distribution hassle-free with AI-powered efficiency. They will turn your manuscript into a finished, published book within 30 days. They handle everything: editing, marketing, cover design, so you can focus on creativity. Plans start at just $125 a month, with authors earning 100% of the royalties, which no one else gives you. This streamlined publishing experience is seriously changing the game. Plus, you won't be in the dark about how your book is doing. Spines gives you the tools to track royalties, performance, and impact, because transparency is a promise. Whether you're into ebooks, audiobooks, or print on demand, Spines has got you covered. And with their global network, your story will reach readers worldwide fast. Start for free and claim your offer. If you got a story to tell, Spines is here to make sure it gets heard loud and clear. Take the first step towards being a published author today. Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. I gotta tell you guys, if I've ever had a hard topic getting you to care about, it's that one. I have not been able to associate those two in any way, and we even had an organic face-off one time that did not go great, and they didn't touch each other. But when you watch the body language of Jon Jones, he did not like that entire situation. That's interesting, I think. And moreover, I thought you would. But I cannot get those two together in a capacity. Now, Tom was just doing an interview. I think he was talking with Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith. And he says, hey, Dana finds a reason to say that Jon Jones is the best. I'm the best, and I'm not getting my credit. They got to give me that belt. They got to be able to put that belt up. Jon is just sitting on the sidelines with the belt. Now, I'm being critical. We're splitting hairs here. But just to look at that statement. If my interpretation is correct, so Tom is saying he's the best in the world, but he doesn't get credit because Jon is sitting on the belt, which would be to imply, if Tom had the belt, that he would then be viewed as the best. Is that accurate? Is that accurate? Like, is that what you guys do? Do you guys just defer to whoever has the belt? I mean, it seems like there was a whole bunch of contention around who has the belt. I'll use Duplessis as an example because a line came out opposite Chimaev, who he's not even getting ready to fight, and Duplessis is the underdog. So just in that regard, it means that you view Chimaev, but he doesn't have the belt. I'm just trying to focus on what Tom is saying here. Does Tom believe that if Jon stays on the sideline, but does it with that belt, and Tom continues to fight regardless of what he does, if he does not get access to that belt, which adversely would mean if he did get the belt, you'd have him as number 1. And I question that, because if he got the belt anyway, aside from fighting Jon and beating Jon, I don't know. I don't know that you would view him as the best. Look, let me give you an example. Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic, okay? If I was to ask you the hardest question, you want to get into the MMA business. This is an interview, right? You gotta come through Chael. You be in the MMA business. And I need to check your creativity. I realize that anybody can get a Ferrari off the lot. I need to know if you can move the used Volvo. So I'm going to ask you, tell me the story behind Jon Jones and Stipe and why they're fighting. And you are going to sit there with a blank look on your face. And after you hem and haw and you buy yourself a little time, you're going to come out with something along the lines of Jon Jones, the greatest heavyweight in the world, and he walked away from light heavyweight. And he did his pull-ups and drank his little protein powders, and he got to and then he beat Cyril Gane. You're going to start giving me a breakdown here, but it's never going to answer my question. Why are they fighting? What is the story of their fight? And if you ask enough people and you demand an answer, there isn't one. There isn't. But if you demanded an answer, you would get a response to a degree of finding out who the best in the world is. But if I was to ask you, okay, so if Stipe beats Jon, you would put Stipe as the pound for pound, as the heavyweight great, as the company's great, as the industry and the sport's great. That is where you would put him. And you would tell me no. So it's the paradox that everybody goes through. Like, there's nothing new about this. I'm just looking at what Tom said and breaking it down to figure out if Tom is right. Does Tom not get credit for being the best heavyweight in the world because Jon has the belt? No, that is not right. If Tom had the belt, would he be viewed as the best heavyweight in the world? No. No, he would not. There would be a lot of arguments and a lot of people that thought he was there. But if he doesn't go through, right? The old expression, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And it would be one of those very interesting and tough positions. So it's not all about that belt. And it may never be. If Jon was to retire, Jon step away and he never did it. I mean, anytime you have two guys that could fight and they don't, it now is just an argument. If you're going to get your feelings hurt over something that's just an argument, well, you better have good reason to win the argument. And historically speaking, it does not work that way. The one that came before you, and because of the nostalgia that he would have, right? And Tom will do that to somebody on his way out the door too. There'll be somebody on Tom's way out of the business that he never quite got to. But that the media will rise up and say, well, I bet that was the guy if he ever could have done it. Like, it's just the business. It's just how it goes. We all question Francis's championship. Francis had a belt that said he was the best in the world, but he never fought Jon Jones. So how? And that's just the business. That's just what happened to Francis. It will happen to Jon. It will happen to Tom. But is the audience going to believe that he with the belt is the best? Does he get his credit? No. And when I tell you there's not a meaningful reason that Jon and Stipe are fighting, you really have to understand that. It's the one thing that Tom could have. It's the one thing that Tom could add. You're wondering why every time you hear a interview done with about the Jon and Stipe fight, there's an instant pivot. A bridge is then instantly drawn to Jon Jones is the best of all time. Jon Jones is the GOAT. There has been nobody like Jon Jones. And if you believe that there has, the reason that pivot and that bridge, the whole reason that exists is never because that's been a meaningful topic ever. It's because you can't talk about the fight. They're fighting for no reason. This isn't their fault. I'm sharing this with you. There's nothing on it. And when I come to you guys about Tom and Jon, I don't get anywhere. It is the road to nowhere. The undisputed belt or the interim belt or who's the best or sacrifice more or who paid a price, knowledge is more, mother and father love them the most. The relevance to that and the interest is completely within the mind of the fighter. The audience has a completely different opinion. And fighting over belts doesn't work. There's got to be a reason. So if you're aware of that, go find the reason.